Hello, StarCraft fans! It's Falcon Paladin coming to you with yet another edition of StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void. And today we've got a game between Railgan and ShaDoWn here on Acid Plant, the latter edition. In the bottom right-hand corner of Acid Plant, we have the GM Protoss player sporting the color red. His name is ShaDoWn. He is a French player, and he comes from the team Iron Chains. And in the top left-hand corner of the map, it is the blue Zerg player Railgan, playing for his own clan, Argon here, a GM Zerg player sporting the color blue. Should be an excellent ZVP for you today at the GM level. I told you why I like GM, but I'll tell you again. It's because we see a little bit more creativity. Yes, there are some creative players at the professional level of StarCraft, Gumio being one that comes to mind, Has being another one too. But most of the time, they have really good builds, very strong builds. They'll do a lot. Their timings are excellent. They don't really like going away from what we've seen before, whereas GM players feel a little bit more freedom, right? A little bit more freedom to do what they want to do, to try out some different stuff, and we see it in these GM ladder games. That's the other thing, is most of the pro games that I cast come in tournament situations where players are not really willing to step outside the box and step outside their comfort zone, right? And so they don't. And so it's all the same stuff that we've seen before for the most part. But then on the ladder, hey, you drop a ladder game, so what? You can't win them all. You can't win them all, so don't worry about it. Alright, so nobody's being too crazy regardless right now. It is a one-gate expand out of ShaDoWn. Just now is tossing down his Nexus at 1 minute 30 seconds. Hatchery for Railgan. It looks like it was a hatch first, actually. Hatch first into an extractor, into a pool against the Protoss player without scouting, which you can do. It makes me nervous. Whenever I play Protoss, I feel rumbly in my tummy when I go hatch first. Because I'm like, are there cannons? Was there a proxy? Was it perhaps a 2-gate opening? But for the most part, you can do this. You can get your spawning pool up fast enough. We get queens and lings as long as you're ready to scout, right? On this map, your Overlord does get here in time to see any units that are going to pop out of here and start running across the map. And that is what being Zerg is all about, is having the intel to know when when your enemy is going to send units against you. And at that point, you're good to go. If you know what's coming and you see when it's coming, you're pretty much golden. It's very hard. Very, very hard to see exactly what your opponent is doing on this side of the map before they start moving out and then not be prepared for it. And I know some of you players are like, well, they had a huge army and then they moved out and I wasn't prepared at all. Well, that's where scouting comes in. You want to see what they're having before they have a huge army. But for stuff like this, little pushes out, this is just a scouting adept. It's not really intended to kill anything. But the follow-up is what's important here. Are there going to be multiple adepts? Is there going to be a whole bunch of adepts? Will there be multiple gateways here? But the answer is no. It's going to be a very, very quick Twilight Council here out of ShaDoWn, hiding in a position where it's kind of hard for the Overlord to scout this, unless, oh, there is a Stalker. All right, the Stalker is going to be built solely to keep this Overlord from scouting this Twilight Council down here, and is getting Resonating Glaives. Okay, so we're going to see some additional gateways. At some point, I have to assume, if you're going Adepts with Resonating Glaives, having one gateway is not really going to make that worth it. So Stalker says, you are not allowed to scout this base, Railgan. Why don't you just go on home? Overlord says, you know what? I think I can make it. I think I can make it down here and scout all of your stuff. Oh, he does scout the Twilight Council. Overlord makes it. What is this? Some Zerglings trying to do stuff. Nope, that's a wall and that's an adept. And Zerglings are going to have a hard time breaking this. At least a handful of them, right? If you have 20 lings, that's probably another story. But anyway, Overlord does scout the Twilight Council. And additional gateways coming in. Railgun, I'm sure, can read that and say, all right, additional gateways here, Twilight Council, likely going to be adepts with Resonating Glaives. Blink Stalker, just not as good against Zerg as it used to be sometime back in Heart of the Swarm. It's a different matchup that way. Third hatch just now coming in for Railgun. As soon as he knew, well, I mean, probably before he technically knew it was a one-gate expand, he threw down that third hatch because their Protoss player can't get much pressure on you if they go one-gate expand. Yeah, again, handful of lings, not enough. 3 adepts. They're checking to check for a third nexus. They're checking to check for a third nexus. They're checking for a third nexus here. Definitely not going to happen. Double Evolution Chamber. Nope, Roach Warren and an Evolution Chamber here now at about 36 workers for the Railgun. Hasn't really started ratcheting up that worker count yet, but he's making 2 at a time, 3 at a time, which is what you can do as the Zerg. A quick announcement, I will be streaming Far Cry 5. Far Cry 5 on Twitch on March 27th, the day that it comes out. It's going to be co-op. It's going to be with Wade, my co-op streamer, as these Zerglings try to knock down this Nexus, this third Nexus of ShaDoWn. Is he not escorting this at all? He's not. He's just bringing the Adepts in. All right, so here we go. Adepts with Resonating Glaives. Pretty scary stuff here at 4.5 minutes. They hit fast. They hit decently hard against things. Oh, the Roaches are out, though. Roachling Queen should be enough to handle this, but I don't know. Psionic transferring their way into the main base. A bunch of lings are here, but not enough lings. Absolutely not enough lings. Are these Zerglings actually going to take down this Nexus? No. They all, I mean, they're hurting it, but it's not going to die. And that's for sure. Roaches going to have to chase these guys away. Roach Queen, a pretty good answer to this. And you notice that Railgan got the roaches to pop just as soon as he knew that these adepts were coming out. Just as soon as they arrived, basically, right? He started making them when he figured this was happening. So they popped just in time for some base defense. Now, this isn't a perfect hold by any stretch. 5 drones did go down, but the rest of the adepts are retreating, and the roach count is getting pretty high. It's 41 to 48 harvesters. ShaDoWn was definitely macroing behind that. This third base is horribly injured. 704 hit points and 400 shields here on this third Nexus. So they're still an adept, kind of trying to do stuff, but no, doesn't really work out for her there. Anyway, I will be streaming Far Cry 5, brand new game from the makers of Far Cry 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and Primal. Anyway, it's 5. It's set in Montana. It's the United States of America, which is actually not far from Utah, where I live. So it's going to be interesting to see how they handle that. And as far as I know, the first Far Cry to take place in an actual location, not a made-up place, like a made-up country or a made-up island or a mythical place far, far in the past. All right, Roach is going to try to get in with Ravager support. It's an Adept and Sentry and Stalker composition here, trying to defend this third base location. This is not a lot from Railgun, but it should be enough to put some fear of Zerg into the ShaDoWn. There's an Immortal here, though, from ShaDoWn. That's a pretty big deal. Also trying to toss up... Oh, he was going to get a shield battery, but didn't change his mind at that natural base location. Warping in additional Adepts, surprisingly enough. Keeping the Ravagers pinned in with some force field play. Excellent job. But guess who's here? More Ravagers, more Roaches, more Zerglings. The shield battery is trying to heal up these Adepts as best as possible. Adepts, not your greatest answer against the Roaches, as we previously established. But nevertheless, it looks like there's enough stuff here. Are there upgrades? Nope, no upgrades. Just going upgradeless versus upgradeless right now. Zerglings trying to do stuff, but enough Adepts to really make these handful of Lings just almost useless right now. And chasing Railgun away. All right, so he's gonna try to kill these guys straight up, man. Resonating Glaive Adepts. Do not mess with these. Corrosive Biles landing, almost killing an Adept there, but not quite. Got some more Lings trying to chase these Adepts on down. And, trying to pick off the sentries. Can they get the sentries? Good force fields on the sentries. Are they all going to live? Oh, the sentries all live. Those are two very, 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 very well-placed force fields there. And the Adepts coming in here again. My caramba, the back and forth in this game. Not too shabby thus far, I would say. Adepts coming into the third base. Roach count really good. And there's the recall on the Adepts. Several of them do manage to come back to the third base location, but some of them die in the process, and the remaining units that didn't get caught in that recall getting chased down by Glial Reconstitution Roaches. Very, very quick that way. All right, so we're going to chase them home. But yeah, Far Cry 5, it's going to be fun. Again, it's going to be co-op play on Twitch at twitch.tv/FalconPaladin. If you don't follow me out there, then you probably should. It's going to be a good time. I have 1,000 followers on Twitch, even though I have not streamed there in years at this point. But I'm bringing the Twitch stream out of retirement. It's going to be a great time. You should check it out. All right, March 27th, Far Cry 5. Adepts swinging on into the natural base. There's nobody home to defend against this. Giving it. No, drones run. Drones are not running. The attack at the front. Railgun takes out the Cybernetics core very, very nicely. There are Archons here at the front, and two Immortals are here. Very stubby Immortals, but they hit as hard as regular Immortals, I can tell you that much. Are there Adepts still doing stuff? Still here inside the main base. Some Roaches have been tasked with cleaning them out, and eventually they'll get them. Actually, that one managed to get out with exactly 1 hit point, and now she's dead. And the army for Railgun pulling back home here, too. So it is 3 base to 3 base. 37 to 57 Harvesters. ShaDoWn. Playing this extraordinarily well right now. If you're going to be up, well, it's closer to 10 workers now, but 20 workers on a Zerg player at the 9-minute mark is good at the GM level. I mean, really any level, you're going to be okay with that. All right, Adepts, you ready to go? Adepts are ready to move. They're standing over those vents, getting their feet cooled off. Meanwhile, the army for Railgun heading the opposite direction, possibly going to try to take down this third base. The army's a little bit out of position to stop this. Warping in what? Some Zealots. They don't have charge, not even close to being done yet. Just trying to focus down the third base location, and he's going to get it for sure. Boop. Third base gone and retreating without really losing a whole lot, honestly. But guess who's sneaking in this natural base again? It's Adepts with Resonating Glaives and +1 attack, and more drones are going to die here. 24 drones have been killed, mostly by Adepts. These Roaches are going to go force a cancel on the replacement Nexus at the third base. Excellent job. Excellent job by Railgan, but these Adepts are still killing all of his things. Look at the target firing. Well, I was going to say, they were target firing the drones, but then the Queen started to absorb some of those shots, which is exactly what Railgan wants to happen. He doesn't want to lose workers. He wants the Queen to die. It's much easier for him to replace a Queen as compared to, 8 or 9 or 10 workers right now. Roach, Ravager, Crossbiles raining down upon these Immortals, but still pretty good. 5 kills, 4 kills, 0 kills on that Immortal. He's new to the show. Archon with 3 and Archon with 3, and third base warping in for ShaDoWn. He warped this in before it was entirely safe just a couple minutes ago, but that's what you got to do. You need this third base if you're going to beat the Railgun right now. 55 to 31 Harvesters. Are you kidding? No, apparently not kidding. Is there still an attack going on here? Railgun still trying to poke in, still getting chased away by the superior army of ShaDoWn. Resources lost 7,000 for ShaDoWn and 7,500 for Railgun thus far. Roaches and Ravagers catching some of these reinforcing units, these long-distance mining probes too, trying to even that worker count. Doing fairly well with it here. These probes are absolutely just going to die, but chasing these Ravagers into a corner with Immortals, with Archons, with some High Templar, with Storm, too. There's your Storm, and the Ravagers going to be taken down here, but the army of Railgun basically shutting down this third base entirely. Shieldy Boy getting rocked on down. Ravagers and Roaches sneaking in to the natural base. Immortals with shield protection here. Shield battery protection. I think Railgun recognize that's not a good place for me, but if I can take down this third base, I'm not going to be in a terrible position. So he's going to get right in here with his Roaches, with his Ravagers, +2 missile attack has finished for the Zerg player, and trying to land with some stuff, but is it going to work? I don't know. Immortals and Archons marching up to the third base of Railgun at the same time. Immortals, 8 kills, 10 kills on these guys, but a little bit outnumbered. One of the Immortals does end up going down, but that Roach count, yeah, not great. Immortals are so good against the Roaches. Zealots with charge actually able to chase away this Roach Ravager army with some Immortal support. Third base does survive for the ShaDoWn, but check this out. It's 31 to 34 Harvesters. Feedback on the Queen, and then recalling out of there. Oh, losing a couple High Templar in the process, though. That hurts. Railgun just bringing in a small army to try to deal with this third base, but nope. Zealots with +2 attack and charge are actually pretty scary. They get right on your dudes. You start taking him out. Corrosive Bile lands on absolutely nothing there. Once again, Railgun, he can try to micro all he wants, but these charge lots really, really hard to micro against as compared to regular Zealots, which are easy to micro against here. Oh, an Immortal gets in the mix. Does get taken out. No, saved? Nope, killed. I'm going to say almost saved, but more charge lots warping in. This is insane right now. These players just absolutely going at it. One against another. Can the Roaches kite well enough? The answer is no. Not with this charge. Every time those Zealots charge, they're doing damage, and then they're hacking away with their side blades. The Warp Prism Micro from ShaDoWn, pretty fun too. Once he recognizes he's in a position that's not very tenable, he's going to pull back. His third base is alive. It is injured, severely injured, but it is alive. About 600 total hit points here. Not looking great. 60 to 79 total supply. Railgun has a nice lead, but again, most of it is Roaches here. And the Roaches versus the Immortals. Oh, a quick pause at 13 minutes. Versus Archons, too. Roaches are just not going to do it. Got to have Ravagers. Maybe get some Lurkers. Maybe get some Mutas in the mix. Roaches, again, that +2 attack. Pretty fantastic. Against everything for the most part here. Still +2. ShaDoWn has not found the time to start his +3 attack just because he's been under duress so much. And he's been attacking, too. He hasn't just been defending this entire game. He's killed him a lot of workers. 35 probes and 33 drones. And he gets the third base. Does end up going down there to the Roaches and the Ravagers. Third base gone. ShaDoWn not feeling good about that one. Definitely not. You don't want to lose your third base under any circumstances, especially not for the third or fourth time, which is what it feels like. Just trying to stand on in. These Roaches are 4 more Roaches in production. This is so low econ right now. To be 13, 14 minutes in, and have both workers in the 30-something range for drones and probes is just unheard of. Unless it's a really, really good back-and-forth style game, and I'd say this one is. Corrosive Bile hits absolutely nothing. Have they ever talked about maybe reducing the time it takes to shoot a Corrosive Bile and for it to land? Because right now the time seems really, really long. Especially in situations like that. It goes up, the workers walk right through the thing, doop-doop-doo-doo, or the army does, and they're just fine. Warp Prism, Archon, no, Immortal drop, and an Archon. It is an Archon drop with an Immortal in support inside the main base location. Zerglings, are they what you want in this situation? Versus the Immortal, absolutely yes. Against the Archon, not as much. But Warp Prism heads on down. Again, the key is this army responded to defend the main base while the third base is warping in for ShaDoWn. Again, 42 to 40. Total workers here at the 14.5-minute mark. Oh, do you swing back in, ShaDoWn? What a beautiful juke. What a juke from ShaDoWn. Archons, zap. Immortal, zap. 6 kills, 9 kills on these dudes. Lifting up, lifting, dropping when too many roaches show up. And sneaking away, but this is a really big roach army. Really huge roach army here. There's Storm, there's Archons, and there's Immortals, but this is a lot of Zerg. This is a lot of Zerg for the Railgun. Storm on top of the roaches. They can eat Storms pretty well. They've got 145 hit points. Whereas the Storm does up to 80 damage per Storm, so basically 2 Storms them if they eat 2 entire Storms, which they don't generally do because they're pretty zippy with the Glial Reconstitution upgrade. Regardless, third base lives for ShaDoWn. He loses a couple more probes. It's 40 that have been killed thus far. He's dropping the Archon Immortal here at the third base location of a Railgun. Roaches are coming in 2 or 3 at a time, which is not going to do it for him. Oh, Immortal, pick up, pick up. Okay, good pickup, good pickup. Amazing pickup, dang. The heroes of Immortal and Archon coming to ABC this fall. For those of you outside of America, ABC is just a network TV station that's been around for a very long time, but kind of sounds like the pilot of one. Is he getting Burrow move? Burrow and Tunneling Claws for Railgun. He's going to try to do this thing with Burrow Roach. Now, is there detection? There are no observers from ShaDoWn. Okay. And there are no cannons from ShaDoWn. Could this be a tech switch? And a Burrow Roach from Railgun at the 16-minute mark and actually catch ShaDoWn entirely by surprise? I don't know. The problem is it's 3 base to 3 base. These buddies, it's a buddy cop show, is what it is. They're friends. They're trying to beat back the Zerg infestation in their city. Just flying around. There's really not much anti-air, says ShaDoWn. Where are your queens? Where are your Hydralisks? I guess there's a queen inside the main base. But do we care all that much? 12 kills on that Immortal. Did the Archon die? Oh no, Archon, you died. Oh, Archon. All right. That's cool. I guess I really want to know how many kills you have, but now you're dead, so you have 0. ShaDoWn, 4th base, coming in, but this is a big, big army from Railgun right now. And there's the Burrow move. There's the Burrow move. No detection from ShaDoWn. This might just be game ending, ladies. Oh, he has an observer. When did he make an observer? He must have made one just while I was talking about how he didn't have any detection after I checked the first time. Okay, now the question is, where is the observer? It is with his army defending this 3rd base. Okay. All right. This is, yep, not going to work, Railgun. Sorry, dude. When you're burrowed, you can't attack. So it really hurts to burrow into an army that can see you because they're just railing on you the whole time and you can't do anything about it. Ha! Railing on Railgun's armies. Jokes. Jokes. Zealots coming in for another Warp Prism drop at the 3rd base. There's a queen there, so the anti-air against the Warp Prism is pretty good. Still no queen at the natural. That is madness. This is Sparta. 4th base coming in for the Railgun. 4th base already done for ShaDoWn. 40 to 39. Total workers here at the 17-minute mark. What a nutso game this is. I do love the GM. I just do. APM for these guys on average over 200, about 250 each. It's just how you know they're good. Roach Ravager, they really hate this 3rd base, man. They're going to take it, too. With this +2 attack and the Corrosive Biles, bam! 3rd base explodes! ShaDoWn can't do anything about it. Trying to dodge Corrosive Biles in the meantime. Wanted to kill that pylon. Couldn't quite. No, he's going to get it. He's going to get the pylon. And he wants to get the shieldy boys there as well. The shield batteries have personally insulted him and his family. Warp Prism dodging in, not dropping anything. Recognizing there's a lot of Lings and Roaches there. Lings here too at the natural base. There's a single Zealot in that Warp Prism. Just the one. No big deal. Corrosive Biles trying to prevent chasing. Ooh, that Archon took some shots, man. He's down to very, very, very few shieldies. 50 of them. Trying to burrow through, but the Observer says, you can't burrow here. Ooh, 2 Archons out of Corrosive Bile. You can't just eat those, ShaDoWn. Nope, Zealot warping at the 3rd base of the Railgun, but again, the response pretty good. This time from the Zerg. He's keeping a portion of his army home, mostly Lings, mostly Queens. They can handle this stuff, and then the Roaches and the Ravagers are doing the true fighting in the middle of the map. Storm here from ShaDoWn. He has learned from the best. He knows that you need Storm if you're going to beat a Zerg, especially if they're going Roach Ravager like this. Splash damage is just really, really important. Ah, Group Spine's on the way from Railgun, which means he has the ability to make Hydras. He's just not making any of them. Zealots wandering into this 4th base, recognizing it's not very defended until it is defended. But is this a feint? Is this pulling the army away? No, Railgan is splitting off his army to defend the third base too. Very smart. A lesser player would send his whole army against this zealot group, but you don't have to. You don't have to chase them away, as it turns out. Storms, corrosive biles, and everything. Not even caring about the storms right now is Railgan, getting absolutely right on top of these Immortals. The Archons in the back doing some terrific splash damage. Corrosive biles taking down Immortals. The last High Templar is gone. Decisive engagement there out of Railgan. 145 to 96 total supplies. Zealots coming into the third base while the army's away. The Zealots will play. +2 attacks still on these guys, but I think it might be enough to get stuff done. Look at them killing these drones at third base. Another attack of Zealots at the fourth base of Railgan. I thought Railgan had that game won with that decisive victory in that battle, but no. He's down to 34 drones, having a really rough time right now, getting any kind of income at all. Income is about 1,000 per minute compared to 1,800 on the minerals for ShaDoWn. Fourth base happily running. Third base is back. +3 attack almost done. +3 going to be really important here for ShaDoWn. Can he handle this Roach Ravager army though with a +2 attack? Still no Hydras. A little bit surprised by. I guess the Storm is better against the Hydras. The Roaches and Ravagers can eat it to some extent, as we've discussed and as we've seen. Zealots in here at the natural base. Big time engagement here between the natural and the third base of ShaDoWn. Once again, the Storms, but this time, I don't know. I was going to say, Railgun's closer to home for ShaDoWn this time. And he is, right? ShaDoWn, if he loses this battle, he can't just macro up back at home. Oh, both the observers get sniped. Did he see that? I think he saw that. He's burrowing his roaches, trying to see, can you see me? Handful of Ravagers going to get rid of this third base. And oh, the burrow and the pop. There's the pop. Did ShaDoWn know he was out of detection? I don't know. Trying to pick up the Immortals and keep them alive, but the Warp Prisms can only do so much. Archons wandering into the fight and getting killed, and ShaDoWn leaves the game without the GG, and Railgan was victorious in 21 minutes and 50 seconds. Is he still killing stuff? All right, man. You're feeling amped after this game. I understand. Oh, you're not amped anymore. That always happens, man. I mute them to let them do their thing, and then they stop. I wait until I mute. I know that's what's happening. Oh, okay. That was the very definition of a back and forth ZVP at the GM level. If you look in the dictionary for back and forth, StarCraft 2, Zerg versus Protoss, this is it. This is the quintessential example. Look how even the units lost here is. 27,000 lost for Railgun compared to 30,000 for ShaDoWn. More gas, obviously, for ShaDoWn. 17 Immortals died and 14 Archons. That is so much gas, along with 9 High Templar. This third base consistently getting sniped down was a big deal, too. All 3 of these Nexus kills were at this third base location. It allowed Railgun to delay his fourth base as long as he did. If this third base was just up and not getting harassed or killed, then Railgun on 3 bases versus a 3-basing ShaDoWn was going to be a bad time, but it worked out. Railgun lost 157 Roaches and 16 Ravagers. I don't know how many he made throughout the game. Actually, we can see. 6 and 16. So we made about 22. 22 of them. Lost a large majority there. So, anyway, man, I haven't really seen Roach Ravager be this effective against the Protoss in a while, but it just, Railgun did not allow ShaDoWn to get up his critical mass of Immortals with Archon support and Storm. Sure, there were Immortals, sure there was Storm, sure there were Archons, but not in numbers that were enough to make Railgun fear for his Zergy life. So, good one. Good game for sure, and that's going to be it from me. So this has been Falcon Paladin coming to you with yet another edition of StarCraft 2, The Legacy of the Void. Go ahead and hit that like button. Hit that subscribe if you like what you saw and what you heard today. You can also catch me on Twitter, Facebook, and Patreon, all at /Falcon Paladin. And until next time, as always, thank you so much for watching. You take care of yourself.